Advocacy group is calling on local officials to stand with our communities instead of ICE agents.
Atlanta News First senior reporter Patrick Quinn is live along Buford Highway, and local Latino advocates say President Trump is overstepping here, Patrick.
Blair, some advocates say that some of the individuals that have been arrested in the last few days here in Metro Atlanta did not have a violent criminal history and thus should not have been targeted. However, today the White House doubled down on their efforts and defended the ICE arrest, saying that if you are in this country illegally, that is a crime and thus you are a criminal and should be deported as such. This, of course, is a very controversial issue, a very emotional issue that has impacts here in Metro Atlanta. We certainly have dug into this issue over the course of the day, and we've talked with advocates of the Latino community. There have been nearly 1,000 arrests, a part of these ICE arrests just today alone, and that adds to the efforts that we've seen over the last few days now. Advocacy groups say that this is having a huge impact on the Latino community, fear and anxiety. They're calling on local leaders to stand by their community and stand against ICE.
People are staying home. People are exercising caution, and that's going to harm our economy. I would urge local elected officials to make sure that they can take steps to not cooperate with ICE.
And on February 5th at the state capitol here in Georgia, there will be a Latino Day. No doubt these arrests will be front and center in front of state lawmakers. Live tonight along Buford Highway, Patrick Quinn, Atlanta News First.